Do you easily feel attacked? Do you take remarks very personally? Take them like picks purposely thrown at you? Do you feel some kind of excitement whenever there's a conflict going on, the drama happening? Do you catch yourself looking for a way, a reason to turn anything into a conflict? Someone setting their boundaries with you, for example, someone disrespecting you. Do you catch yourself consciously or unconsciously trying to turn everything into a conflict? Well, you might be, like many people, addicted to the toxic pattern of wanting to recreate this emotional roller coaster of the conflictual situation, the drama, the heat, as you want to call it. Hi, welcome. My name is Priscilla. I make videos to help you develop your self-awareness, looking at your own toxic behaviors so you can heal it, which is totally possible. I also make art, so drop by my Instagram if you feel like it and follow me if you enjoy it. What do I mean by being attracted to the heat of the conflict? What I mean by that is that you consciously or unconsciously always look for a way to make things explode, to make things come to the moment where you guys enter in conflict. That's it, it happens. Why? Because of the heat it creates, the hype, emotional roller coaster that it creates. Your heart starts racing and you're not aware that you're actually addicted to that feeling. Okay, it is 100% biologic. You don't actually love conflict, obviously, especially explosive conflict, because it's draining. No, you don't actually love it. Every time you experience something very traumatic, something very painful, your mind gets attached to it immediately. Pain creates attachment. And so what's going to happen is that consciously you're going to want to relive that again and again and again, like a drug. I even think it was proven that you feel the same kind of internal emotions and hype that you experience when on drugs, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm gonna have to check this and I'll get back to you. But yeah, in other words, you're addicted to the feeling that comes with explosive conflict. Why? There are different things that stem from this addiction to create conflict. They are all related to the dynamic you experienced growing up towards, one, being uncomfortable about anything. How did you learn to deal with discomfort, being uncomfortable? How did you learn to manage being uncomfortable? How did you see how people around you handled them being uncomfortable? Two, how did you learn to express your anger? How people around you were expressing their anger? How did you learn to set your boundaries, if boundaries there were ever? How did people around you set them? And obviously communication in general. How did you learn to communicate? How did your parents, first people in your life that you saw and watched and learned from for many years, how did they communicate in general? What was their communication style? All of this will determine the way you today handle your emotions, communications, conflict, boundary setting. Because however your parents, the people you grew up with, handle these things, you took it on and you learn things that way. On top of that, you have to add the influence of the environment, the weight of the culture, and if trauma happened, well, there are beliefs that formed as a result of this trauma and learned behaviors as well. I know that I grew up in a very toxic environment. There was a lot of drama, a lot of shouting, a lot of fighting, a lot of picking up on each other, constant conflict. It was really all around me. In the environment I grew up in general, I grew up in the Caribbean, in the environment in general, in my family, it was very explosive. That's really what I saw growing up, what was my normal, even though I was highly unsafe all the time and exhausted, drained by this constant fear of any drama that could occur anytime, anything could explode anytime. It's not about liking it, enjoying it, because I clearly didn't. But I didn't realize this conditioned me. I was subconsciously looking for it. My subconscious would feel safe in environment around people that would generate avoid conflict, that would make problems all the time, create dramas, reasons to fight with each other all the time. And so you really want to be aware of that, because there is an attachment that formed before you knew it. And this is leading you to subconsciously look for it in your relationships, in interactions with people. You subconsciously look for a reason to create a conflict. And by conflict, I don't necessarily mean like physical fight. No, I mean quarrels, argument with people, arguing with people all the time. I really hope this is enlightening for you as it was for me, because realizing this, becoming self-aware of this, truly changed my life, my relationships, and my relationship with relationships, which to me was a place where drama and exhaustion had a central place. When it comes to the weight of the culture that can really hugely influence your normal, your perception of normal. Again, I grew up in the Caribbean. My parents are not even from there. They are originally African, and overall I grew up in a black environment. Alright, the black culture is quite hated. There is a lot of ego. Ego has a central place in the black culture in general, but in the Caribbean culture too, African culture. It's really about keeping the face, and people will go to conflict immediately if they feel like you might be a menace, you might threaten the image they are trying to maintain. And so conflict happens a lot. Okay, I grew up in a very heated and agitated environment where women were fighting a lot, women were picking up on each other a lot, lots of conflict, lots of drama, a lot of that. And this is a culture where this is really encouraged. This is totally normal. This is really normalized. And so I really learned that as a normal way to apparently interact with each other, set boundaries with each other. Why did you do it like that? It really was very, very, very common. And so obviously this is going to seem normal for you to settle things that way. And even if you're not the kind of person that creates drama, that is aggressive or is a drama person in general, even if you're a very calm person, you're still subconsciously, unconsciously try to create conflict by driving people to the point where they then will be the one creating the drama, because you are subconsciously trying to make it happen. It's very subtle. Becoming self-aware of this is a game changer. In a nutshell, you are subconsciously drawn back to this feeling again, this emotional roller coaster. You need to feel it again, just like a drug. So one thing I want you to know is that don't worry, you can totally stop. You can totally stop. How? Simple. Start by becoming aware of it. As I was just explaining, see yourself. When you interact with people, watch yourself and realize if you're trying to make it turn into something bigger than what it really is. Okay, do you feel immediately offended when people try to set their boundaries with you, when people try to talk to you, when people say something that made you uncomfortable but truly they didn't say anything wrong or disrespectful, but you don't like it? Do you catch yourself trying to create something that's not necessary, something bigger than what it really is? Do you catch yourself trying to create a conflict? Pay attention to that. Then you want to change your belief. You want to go over the belief that you have about relationships, interactions with people, because you learned the wrong information. So it's going to be specific for everybody. But if you really identify to everything I said so far, you probably consciously or unconsciously learned that fighting with other people, arguing, was a way to connect. It is not a way to connect. You don't always realize that that's how you were bonding, because maybe growing up, you had this fight with your mother or your siblings or your parents in general, and then they would come back and it would just act like everything was normal, but somehow it would bring us closer. A bit weird, but we would never address truly what happened after big explosions. We would just let some time pass. I would often be given the silent treatment, and then after the storm passed, we would just go back to talking to each other, having fun with each other, and we would be even closer than before. So I really learned that arguing, like fighting, suffering, hurting each other, was really bringing us closer, was a way to connect with people. This is how you bond. Absolutely not. This is not a healthy way to create healthy relationship. This is not how you do that. No. So you really want to go over the belief that you have by digging deeper into, why am I looking for a way to create conflict with people. Answer these questions. You might realize so much about yourself. There might be even deeper beliefs like everybody wants to hurt me, I have to defend myself all the time, I have to protect myself by fighting with other people. Beliefs like that makes you feel that you really have to fight. You're already taking your sword when someone's just doing that to you. You just have a question to ask you. You're ready to fight back. You're ready to attack. I'm gonna give you a few affirmations at the end of the video, so stick around to get good ways to rebuild a positive image of relationship. Also, you really want to set boundaries with people that are still tied to those beliefs, to those negative, wrong beliefs about relationships. So people who like to fight, people who like to create conflict, drama, you really want to start distancing yourself from them. It's going to be very triggering for you, very reenacting, and you really want to take some serious time off from that kind of energy. It might be family members, and you're gonna have to just do what's right for you. So if they haven't changed, you're gonna have to distance yourself. And so a few affirmations about relationships, what they're really about, to help you change your perspective about how we really are supposed to talk to each other and what relationships are really about. I will put them in the description box as well. Relationships are not a game. There is no winner and no loser. Relationships are here to help me understand who I am. Relationships are very important. Fighting is not how we connect with each other. I detach from my attachment to pain, to being hurt, being disrespected, to being afraid. I detach from my attachment to see and create conflict all the time. Everybody isn't trying to hurt me. I don't have to be afraid of other people. I am safe. And many more affirmations that you can actually find on YouTube. I use YouTube a lot to listen to affirmations, whether during the day or to sleep. And that's also a great recommendation that I have for you. If you really want to reprogram your subconscious, you have a lot of negative patterns, a lot of negative thoughts that you want to get rid of. Listening to positive affirmations, great way to deal with it. And actually do that. Let me know if you would like to know more about that. I hope this video was very enlightening for you. If you have reached that stage of your life where you start realizing what is truly sabotaging you, what is truly keeping you from being fulfilled and happy, you have found the right channel, because self-awareness is really the way through, because you're the only one standing in the way of your own happiness. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, then join the self-awareness journey by subscribing and liking this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.